That made me purple guy from McDonald's.
Hello and welcome to Good Enough. I am Sam, joined as always by Matt.
Hello.
And Robbie.
Hello.
Gentlemen, I've got some good news for you.
Yeah?
Do you remember earlier this year when Black Panther came out and it was accompanied by one of the best hip-hop albums of all time?
I do.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Do you remember when Venom came out and Eminem?
That dope Eminem track.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, now the Aquaman's coming out, they are also wrangling a high-profile artist to do their featured single.
Really?
Pitbull.
Oh, Mr. Worldwide himself.
Mr. Worldwide. He's singing about one specific part of the world.
Atlantis?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Because you said this is for
Alaska?
Aquaman, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he live in Alaska in like Justice League?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, it has to be something in the water because
Oh.
Aquaman. That's the title. They're going with that for the title of the movie, right?
Aquaman? Yeah. No,
Going with that?
it's a cover of Africa. Toto's Africa, featuring Rhea.
Interesting.
Okay.
This is what the competition for superhero soundtracks hath wrought. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel, folks.
I mean, it feels like only one side is scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We had
Because have you heard the Vince Staples track for Into the Spider-Verse?
no.
Because it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
it's
very-
incredible.
Is it?
Very
yeah,
good.
it's very good.
The soundtrack was very good.
So then, what's the deal with Pitbull, guys?
Hey, what's the deal with Pitbull? That was supposed to be Jerry Seinfeld when it first came out.
It just sounded like you were falling backwards while saying it.
Like in my head, that was Jerry Seinfeld. It
Well-
did not come out that way.
Out loud, it was not. Absolutely
No,
not.
I agree. It was not.
So, I mean, have you guys listened to this song?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really bad.
What the fuck? What, like, who's this for? Who's it for?
Pitbull.
DC fans. They clearly aggregated what DC fans want and like. This must be it.
I just someone at DC or Warner Brothers was like, oh, they got Kendrick Lamar, and then they also got Eminem.
I'm really curious what they said no to. What were they?
They had to settle.
What else was on the list before they got to Pitbull?
I just why? Also, why cover Africa?
Because it's a hot song right
Why
now.
do a horrible cover of Africa though?
Yeah.
It straight up sounds like someone made it in GarageBand.
It sounds like I made it. I was like, you know what would be funny? If I did a parody of Pitbull doing a cover of Africa. Mm-hmm. Because that's just a joke.
And it's just the music from Africa with the chorus and then Pitbull saying woo every 30 seconds.
And talking about how he's Mr. Worldwide. Does he mention Aquaman? I couldn't discern.
Is he saying woo because that's what
That's Aquaman's thing.
Yeah, that's what Aquaman says.
That's how he calls all of his fish movies.
What if he called his fish homies by saying Mr. Worldwide?
What if he called his fish homies by singing a different Pitbull song?
I don't think I know a Pitbull song.
That's why I just
Yeah, I
said
was
a
trying to
different Pitbull song. And
There's
I was trying to go through my head. I can't think of a specific Pitbull song.
I bet we subconsciously know about a dozen.
Yeah.
But
so
Well, I don't know if I know just a Pitbull song. Does he have just
I don't
Pitbull
think so.
songs?
what, are
Does
you crazy?
Pitbull just have Pitbull songs?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, he's sampled on everyone.
there's a Pitbull song on my iPhone, and every once in a while it comes up on shuffle, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even know how this got here.
What song is it?
I don't know the song. I don't know the name of the song. I don't know who else is on it. I do know there's a line on there that says, "I fuck like a porn star." So
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I wonder if DJ Khaled and Pitbull have ever teamed up.
They're just
They
like,
gotta have some kind of beef.
Like, the,
I've been featured more.
Because like Pitbull used to be the featured guy.
I mean, I feel like he still is.
He still is, but I feel like DJ Khaled is much more of that guy now.
You remember when DJ Khaled performed at the Overwatch Championship?
Yeah, that was
And he sang
wild.
that song that he was just a producer on.
Yeah, that was wild.
it was just like, let's all listen to this track with DJ Khaled. Like,
Do you think, like, speaking of like superhero movie soundtracks, could that become like with the like superhero movies there's like 5 or 6 a year now, and they're starting to become bigger soundtracks now. Do you think that could become a category in award shows?
Well, they
do.
they
award
tried.
best
They pushed
soundtrack,
for it, right?
don't they?
Oh, did they really?
To the popular category in the Academy
Oh,
Awards,
the
they
popular
tried.
category.
Speaking of popular movies, there's one thing that has brought us together on this day, and that's a little something called Doom. Rock Block, episode 2. We watched Doom.
That would be Mortal Kombat.
I know. That's the Rock Block theme song.
That makes sense.
Well, because if they made a Mortal Kombat movie, The Rock would be in it.
So, anyways,
I mean, they did.
Another one.
They have.
Another one.
they've made like 3 of them, haven't
Yeah.
they?
Another one.
Another.
And another one.
And then there was that internet series that went on for a few years.
What?
You know what's crazy? It's like we live in a world where like 3 or 4 Mortal Kombat movies and like web series have been made. Not one of them stars The Rock as Jax. And I'm very upset about that. Now it needs to happen. Do you think Rock would...
Goro.
Or Goro. Do you think... Remember in the first Mortal Kombat, Goro was defeated when Johnny Cage punched him in the dick?
Yeah.
I mean, but it fits the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not... can't believe I'm going to say this. That's not weird. that Hollywood actor defeated a 19-foot monster by kicking him in the dick.
No, we're talking about Doom today, starring our good friends The Rock and Karl Rural.
That was a good joke.
Thanks.
I will
13 minutes.
I will remain indifferent to that joke. But anyway,
Guys, I had never seen Doom, like between when it came out and like 2 days ago.
yeah, that's also something I would keep between us because that almost sounds like a federal crime.
Federal?
Yeah.
There's a department. There's a department just for that.
Yep.
I'm very disappointed that I had never seen Doom because you guys, I loved it.
I'm like disappointed in you.
I loved
There's
it.
a lot of rock movies you haven't seen, huh?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Which is why I'm excited for the Rock
Yeah.
Block because I haven't seen probably the majority of his movies.
Like, how do you?
I don't like avoid them. Sheila never wants to go see him, and I don't
The
know.
worst. You're like the worst.
Robbie's
kind of
coming
human.
in really hot right now.
Uh-oh.
Doom is amazing.
Doom is good. I mean, from the opening, from the Rock taking his orders like a madman with his giant Semper Fi tattoo.
It comes in so hot, like from the very beginning.
No. So this movie, I timed it. So it's about like the Rock and his special forces team going to Mars to look into like a lab accident.
But how do they get to Mars? By a portal that was discovered in Nevada.
Sure, but I'm saying
in the 1950s.
From
That's
the-
the first line of the movie.
from the time the movie starts to the time they're in the quarantined area of the lab on Mars, it's like 15 minutes. Not even kidding. They get all exposition out of the way almost immediately.
Yeah.
The first thing you hear in the movie, this is before any company logos or the title screen. The first line of the movie is Rosamund Pike VOing over a shot of the stars, and it says, "In the year 2026, archaeologists working in the middle of the Nevada desert discovered a portal to an ancient city on Mars."
They should have got
There it is. That's all the setup.
They should have got Kate Blanchett to do that.
What else do you need to know, though?
Oh, no, nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They fucking nailed it. I loved it. What?
Robbie's mom's not going to be happy with you.
Sandra, I'm sorry.
I've only said dick this episode so far.
You hear that, Sandra? But yeah,
It wastes no time getting into it.
and then there's the I miss that era of like super animated, like intricate title cards, you know?
Yeah.
Which this movie has. It's like a bunch of like shifting metal moving into place to spell the word doom. So my question, like after this intro, then it skips to like 20 years later. Did they establish an entire colony on Mars in 20 years?
I want to say it only took 10.
Yeah.
10?
Because we find out later, because they were living.
They were
Carl Urban's character and his
Carl
family.
who?
I'm not going to say it.
Carl who?
I'm not going to say it.
Carl Spaceman because he's in space.
Him and his family were living.
Neither rural or urban.
They were living in Mars.
Yeah, they were living on the colony
And it's
in
been
Mars.
10 years since then. So that
So
means,
they
that means two things. It took them 10 years to build it, and Carl Urban's character is 18 years old.
Well, actually,
And he's a grizzled.
there's a
special
character on their
forces.
team called the Kid.
And Carl Urban is like a grizzled part of the team. Like,
So
I
they
mean, it would fit though because that kid does look like he could be 16 years old.
absolutely.
But
and Carl
But yeah.
Urban looks like he could be 40.
so I would say,
How old is Carl Urban?
you know what, guys? I don't know. But I was just thinking, like, I think it maybe only took 5 years now because his family had established
Yeah,
a
that's
life
true.
and had things that they did on a regular basis or whatever. That like they had a routine and a schedule and
Yeah, it wasn't like they got to Mars and his parents were immediately killed.
yeah.
How were they killed? We just hear them screaming
The
in
mining
an
accident.
audio flashback.
Yes, I was real questionable about that too.
It's the mining accident, you idiots.
No,
So there's a scene in the movie. Carl Urban is like looking out a window onto Mars.
which by the way is the only time we get a shot of like the surface of Mars.
Yeah, and you hear
This movie takes place on Mars. We never see the surface of Mars.
You see, like, what on screen amounts to like I don't know, like
It's
like
like,
a 2-inch by like 6-inch fucking little slot. in it.
yes.
and you hear like a flashback going on in Carl Urban's head. Reaper, his character's name is Reaper, of like his family dying.
Ooh, what's his last name?
Grim.
So he chose the name Reaper.
Or someone chose it for him.
I believe he said it was chosen for him.
Can we talk about the ID handles, please?
Oh,
For a
why?
moment? Oh, because
Why bring that up?
because so the movie was made in what
2005.
2005, and which is probably like the height of like Xbox Live, like the
Yeah.
Xbox 360, right? Or
Yeah.
the start of it, right? So like these are like their gamer tags these people have, handle IDs.
They're called handle IDs. I mean, it's as close to just calling them gamer tags as you can get.
They get to the so they get their mission to go to Mars, and as they're picking up their weapons in the helicopter, like before it even takes off, and like they get their handle IDs, and we learn everyone's code names. There's something special.
Well, they're weird. Like they range from Reaper to
They range from a name to Reaper.
Yeah. So like
one guy's name was Portman.
Yeah,
and
what-
then we get
handle ID Portman. It's just his name.
And then Sarge, Destroyer, Mac, and Duke are thrown in there.
Mac and Duke.
And the kid, like with the
Well, it's crazy because when the kid
and
picks
Goat.
up, when
One is Goat.
why is he called Goat?
There's a theory online that it's like a religious thing because he's the religious character in the movie. But I don't know if that's real or not.
Okay, well, I'm glad you explained the theory. Let's move on.
You asked.
I did. I expected an explanation. Okay. So what happens after they get to the lab, right? Or the
they
lab-
get to Nevada. There's
where
like
the
a
portal-
facility in Nevada.
Well, they get to the big elevator
Yeah.
that comes up out of the ground and then takes them down
Mm-hmm.
to the ark.
And they go through the portal, which is just like some mercury floating in the air.
This movie, like, there's a bunch of like religious symbolism in it for no reason, and religious references and stuff. Because when they learn about what's happening in the lab on Mars, Karl Urban references Genesis.
The Rock asks him what's happening, and he says Genesis chapter 1.
But what does that mean? Because they're creating life, or
Yeah, a new life is being created.
Cryptic.
yeah. But when they first get to Mars, after we meet Pinky at the lab. No, wait, we meet Pinky on Mars or in Nevada.
On Mars.
On Mars.
Yeah.
So they go through the portal and they meet Pinky.
Yeah, because remember they're all like throwing up and sick, and they're like, "Oh, that was horrible." And then Pinky comes up and is like, "It could have been worse," because
Yeah.
he's a half man,
Half-
half.
His upper body went to one universe, and his ass went to another.
Like, ha, that's funny. Look at now he's in half.
He's a cripple now. Ha ha.
Which, I mean, that's a dope setup. Like,
Yeah.
that's got to be like. It seems like it'd be like a multi-million-dollar setup he has. Like his spine is fused to that chair, and seemingly it's controlled by like legs would be.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I like how they disregarded him immediately because of it, though.
They do
Right.
that with a lot of characters in this movie.
And his
then
name was freaking Pink Zowski or something. And he's all, just call me Pinky.
That's like Mac later.
Oh my god! Like he
Yeah.
asked him, "Why are you called Mac?" And then he says his name, which is a Japanese name, and then Pinky Lady says, "Okay, Mac, it is."
That it's his team. Like Robbie said this not long ago. He goes, his team was too racist to learn his actual Japanese name.
And or incorporate his actual name into his nickname.
His
Like
handle-
something about him.
His
Yeah.
Mac. That's not his name.
It's not even anything close.
Wait, hang on. What if he?
What if he likes Big Macs? Matt, like, I don't know. I like smelled that coming, and it made me mad instantly. Oh, no, he doesn't. But they don't have those in space, and
It doesn't.
they haven't had a weekend in 6 months.
Maybe like they want like Portman. His thing. He wants to go get 3 ladyboys and a bottle of tequila.
Yeah, maybe
Mac's like,
Mac
I'm gonna go
wants-
get a shitload of Big Macs.
just lock myself in a room with a shitload of Big Macs.
Oh God.
That would suck. Like, why wouldn't you just go get fresh Big Macs when you wanted them?
I've never had a Big Mac before.
My
Weird flex, but all right.
It was my quick story. I was in 5th grade. Me and my buddy, I don't know. It was like some report, and like the winner, the teacher took to McDonald's, and like for a lunch, whatever. So me and him got to go to McDonald's, and she was like, "I'm gonna get you guys Big Macs," and I was like, "I don't fucking like Big Macs," and like. But I was like so afraid to say anything. I didn't say anything, and then I just ate the Big Mac. And I was like, "Oh, that wasn't bad, but I'll never eat a Big Mac again."
Is that the only Big Mac you've had?
No, I think I've had others since, but that was like the only one I had for years.
How many Big Macs do you think Mac had?
I mean, dozens.
I mean, to be named Big Mac or Mac.
Or macaroni and cheese.
Or Mackie Mouse?
He loved Mackey Mouse
And Big Macs.
so much so.
That's his weekend.
You maniac.
The first thing Portman does when they get to Mars, can you tell me what he does? His first
He
action?
attempts to sexually assault 3 women.
Oh yeah.
It's
no.
fu-
Well, and
4.
no.
Yeah,
Actually,
4.
he doesn't attempt to. He tells 3 women he's about to sexually assault them.
He's oh ma'am, we're in quarantine, so I'm gonna have to strip search you.
Like
2005 was a different time.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And 2005 was a different time, which meant that their future, 2026 or 2046, was a way different time.
Yeah, it's a different timeline, let me tell you. And after they shun him. Rosamund Pike happens to be walking by, and he turns and uses the same fucking line on her.
Yeah, and she barely gives like a.
She doesn't even
like,
acknowledge it.
What the fuck?
Portman's so you know who Portman reminded me of while I was watching this movie is Micah from Red Dead 2. He's got the look, and he's also just a total piece of shit.
He gives that off, but throughout the movie, proves to be like one of the only sane people.
Right, because like when he dies later on, I mean,
it's while trying to get help that The Rock refused to call for.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I want to talk about that because they build up Portman as being a total asshole, but he tried to get reinforcements.
But he was a complete asshole because, like, literally moments before that, he was calling Pinky a gimp.
That's right.
To be fair, like he was watching him while he was taking a dump.
Well, he wasn't actually taking a dump. He snuck off to go call for reinforcements because The Rock wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
Is Portman a good guy?
I mean, aside from Karl Urban, I'd say yeah. And I mean, Destroyer and
Duke.
And Mac and Duke.
I
So
guess they're all
everyone
good.
except for
The Rock.
the guy who ended up being the bad guy. But I feel like Duke and them went along with Sarge's. Like they didn't fight him like the kid did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The kid's the only one who really stood up, and
Yeah.
the Karl Urban wouldn't stand up to him until he had fucking superpowers at the end.
Yeah, until the kid had been killed in cold blood and he had superpowers.
Right. So when they get to the lab, I was talking with Robbie about this. This might be like one of the most faithful video game interpretations on film. Like, because they get to the lab and they get like the map schematics for the lab and the airlock and stuff. It's so video gamey.
Yeah, and they immediately meet a guy who's going to go help them on their mission.
Yeah, it's crazy because
He's like, yeah, their guy in
Their
the chair.
guide.
they're the man in the chair.
The man in the chair.
Yeah, and they get the man is a chair.
The man who's a chair.
It's my favorite Edgar Allan Poe poem.
This movie is really hard to follow. Like from beginning to end, the plot is hard to follow. The science is nonsense.
I mean, I'd argue the plot isn't that hard to follow, and
It
you
is,
probably
though, like-
shouldn't look too deep into the
like the plot
science.
is,
I'll
if
agree
you're not
that
paying
the
attention. The plot is like you don't understand. You don't understand why they're doing the things they're doing on the planet until like 20 minutes before the movie's over.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how movies work sometimes. You
That's
know,
the big mystery they have
keep
to
the
uncover.
mystery.
When they get there, though,
And you're acting like that wasn't part of the plot of the movie, trying to figure out what was going on the planet.
yeah, that's a big
Right.
reveal later because Rosamund Pike. It turns out, did she know?
We don't know.
That's 'cause
She too. She
So
also.
I couldn't tell if she was
So on
supposed to
the
be like a
planet-
bad guy or not.
On the planet, they're doing. So they
Experiments.
found this creature
Well, okay.
holding onto a child called Lucy.
And they also call the site on Mars Olduvai,
Yeah,
which
so
is the real
two
world
references to two real world things.
where like they found Lucy, who is supposedly the missing link between what I didn't want to give this movie like any credit, but like I don't know, they broke out Olduvai and Lucy, and I was like, okay, I can get down with this symbolism. But yeah, it's so video gamey that the entire team fucking splits up, and then they split up and reconvene so many times in this movie.
This facility seems massive, but they can get to each other within seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, like no one's ever out of shouting distance.
And they're always like they'll be in one group with each other, and then you'll see two people that were not together before
Yeah.
together.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the kid, like that guy
Was
the more-
everywhere.
Yeah, the more I think about it, was erratic and probably could have gotten them all killed because he was first with Portman, then
And Portman gave him drugs.
Why did
yeah.
he get? What was the point of that?
He was shook.
Sure, but like, what pills?
Sam,
Did,
don't act like when you're shook you don't do drugs, bro.
How did he get on this special forces space team?
I don't know.
Like
first
they're the
mission.
rapid.
It's
They're the
it's the double R.
It's rapid response special secret.
Special secret.
The RRSS.
It's called the Special Secret Big Mac Sauce.
It's like, how did he get on this team?
I don't know. Like
He obviously had not seen much battle before.
I mean, and honestly, he was shook by the elevator.
Yes.
Like he was, because remember the Rock, the second thing the Rock tells him after, you're coming on this mission, kid, is if people hesitate, or no, if you hesitate, people die.
Right.
It's like, bro, he was getting in the elevator. Like, you might want to just back off.
Don't hesitate. I mean, no one's going to die because he hesitated to get on the elevator.
Just a little bit.
The Rock is very serious in this movie.
Yeah, he takes his orders literally.
Also, it was crazy to see The Rock and hear The Rock drop a bunch of F-bombs one after the other. This movie is pretty tame until about 20 minutes in.
And then it skyrockets.
The number of F-bombs.
I love it because it fits the movie. There was no reason for The Rock to be cursing people out.
Yeah.
It's funny because you're right.
But when he comes back and the scientist they was there to save is gone, and the woman who's in charge of keeping an eye on him says oh, he disappeared, and he's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because this is a movie about demons on Mars, but I'm impressed with the amount of restraint that it showed in the first 20 minutes.
Demons, though. They're humans,
right?
That have been...
It's
despite going against the core lore of the Doom video games, it's still one of the best video game adaptations I've ever seen.
It's basically what they did with Resident Evil, but it's Doom now.
Yeah.
Right. It's a
zombie shooter.
Yeah.
They were trying to put the 24th chromosome that they found in Lucy and put it, because it made Lucy a superhero apparently.
Oh, and what was that chromosome called that was so hard for you to comprehend and keep up with? What was that 24th chromosome called?
C24.
Yeah, come on now, Matthew. Come on.
So they were trying to inject that chromosome into people, and it was turning them into monsters.
Well, it was either turning them smart and powerful,
it sounded like,
turning them into monsters.
Until Karl Urban got superpowers at the end, everyone that touched chromosome 24. So they did not vet their people very well because all of them were evil.
Yeah, they have a bunch of deranged psychos.
But it took a leap of faith by Rosamund Pike to.
I hadn't thought about that. There's literally no one else in this movie that gets licked, that gets the death hickey, and that doesn't turn into a monster.
So,
what does it say about Go? So, obviously Go is crazy then because he cuts himself.
Yeah, and he was turning into a monster.
But he still had enough to kill himself before
he turned.
And man, I felt like that was a leap when she's like, he killed himself because he didn't want to turn into a monster. Oh my God, these monsters are people. That's how it all
right.
That's how it all unfolded.
Jesus.
You came up with the solution before you realized what the problem was.
This movie was so video gamey that The Rock encounters the BFG fairly early on, but he can't get
What's
to
it
it.
Called?
The big fucking gun.
Well, no, in the movie.
In the movie.
What's it called?
Fuck, I can't remember.
It's called the Bioforce gun.
That's right.
Which why?
I don't know. I thought it was gonna let out a huge fart or something. I was like,
Bioforce?
What about anything that happened after he pulled the trigger was bio?
And another very video game thing is how he got that gun.
Well, it was locked behind a locked door that he had to return to later, and I was this is some gear gating shit like Metroid or Batman.
The very first scene in the movie, after the whole intro thing, we see the scientist being attacked by these monsters, and one of the scientists
it's John Carmack
gets her arm cut off in a door, and then we see that arm later, and then the next time we see it, The Rock is using the arm to unlock the door.
I loved the way they used the arm in this movie. It came back into play,
which is a super video game thing.
It was a key card essentially.
It's such a super video game thing. It's how you start Doom 2016.
Yeah,
how you get your gear in Doom 2016.
Seriously, Dr. Carmack, obviously reference to John Carmack, who created Doom. one thing. So I want to talk about the rest of the crew, and because they get picked off one by one. What is so there's that scene where is it Portman or is it Karl Urban who's with Goat when he knocks down the canister?
It's
Urban.
Reaper.
Yeah,
Reaper.
It's Reaper and Goat.
Carl Rural and his best friend Mackey Mouse.
No,
Mac wasn't even there.
Mac is not in the
We're
movie.
talking
The only
about
time
Goat.
Mac is in the movie is when there's that super racist part, and then when he dies.
Yeah, and they're like 5-10 minutes apart. Like,
Does Mackey Moose? Oh, I ruined the joke. Damn it.
Mackey Moose.
Does Mackey Mouse know Mookie Moose?
oh, because you ruined it, we can't respond. I'm sorry.
man.
You'll have to
You
wait.
know the rules. You know the
You'll have to
rules.
wait
I
another
know.
60 business days to try that joke again.
Have to make a formal request,
Right. So Goat knocks down a canister down the stairs.
which seems like it goes on forever.
Yeah, because he's giving away their position. But
Like, it's like
he says, "God damn it!" And then like he starts cutting himself.
then he shrugs his shoulders, pulls out his knife, and starts cutting a cross into his wrist.
Yeah, and he goes, and Karl Urban looks at him kind of sidelong, and then Goat says, "I took his name in vain." It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
it kind of came out of nowhere.
The character choices were really weird. Like the stuff they decided to make about each person was very strange.
Yeah, like their archetype or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We need to take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about more Doom. You guys, what do you think?
Doom.
Doom. Doom. All right, well, let's take a quick break. More Doom after this. Welcome back to Good Enough. We're still talking about Doom. Guys, I love this movie, and I'm going to watch it again as soon as we're done recording.
Good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's one thing I wanted to point out. Did you guys notice how often the Rock put his gun on his shoulder?
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Every time he's on camera,
It's fucking crazy. I'd noticed it probably about like halfway through the movie, and then from there on, he does it like 6 or 7 times, and it makes me wonder how many times I missed it.
Like, I mean, it makes me, or it's clear that you don't understand like special forces tactics. Like it's
it's
imperative.
obviously a thing they do.
But he's
it's
so-
imperative that you have the business end of your gun as close to your own head as humanly
'Cause
possible.
the reason he shoots the kid is because he won't shoulder his weapon.
I know he even says shoulder your weapon later in the movie.
I think that means like to hold your gun in a normal way,
Well, yeah.
not with the barrel on your head.
but
We didn't talk about
It's a
how
very
they
Rock
calibrated their
no,
guns.
you know what? I just thought about that, and like now it all makes sense that like they're just all like haphazardly just throwing their guns any which
So
way.
when they get to the facility, they're like, "All right, ready?"
They count down. They're
You're
like
like-
3, 2, 1.
To calibrate their guns.
And then they all aim their guns at each other's faces.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
It's like, yep, all calibrated. We can fucking murder each other all.
And how come they all have like kind of the same guns except Destroyer who's got that
Gatling gun?
comically large Gatling gun?
Because he's
Destroyer.
Destroyer. Yeah, like Destroyer can't, like what? Destroyer's just going to come out with a handgun and a knife? I mean, I guess that would fit a Destroyer. Like,
Destroyer has one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Destroyer has one of the best fight scenes against a monster that anyone's had in any movie.
And then also one of the worst deaths.
yes.
So he gets
Oh
knocked
my
into
God.
he gets knocked into this holding cell. It's like a hole in the ground.
and he has to
And he
fight.
fights one of the monsters, and he has and he's winning this fight.
Yeah.
He's 100% beating this monster with his fists.
And a knife and like this
And then he
monster
like
is
sticks the holding cell is surrounded by electric walls.
naturally. But and Destroyer pins the bad guy up against the wall, is like working his ass over, goes to escape by climbing up a chain. The monster breaks the chain, and gravity kills Destroyer.
What, he falls maybe 6 feet?
I mean, yeah, he just started his
It's
climb.
a maybe
Sure,
maybe
but
a
you
6
guys
foot
like
fall.
he had just gotten done with a really intense boss fight and had probably like 3 or 4 HP left.
That's true.
He fell and he didn't fall on his neck.
No,
he just fell on his back.
Yeah. That's why
And he
what Sam
crumbled.
is saying must be true.
Fall
fall
damage.
damage.
Yeah, he just didn't
It's so
have-
video gamey.
He just like didn't have enough. Like
was
that's like a
sad.
Dark Souls boss. Like you almost beat it, and then like
You
one
fall
last
down a ladder.
one last tentacle trips you, and you fall down a ladder.
God. So what happened after? What do you want to talk about next? We need to talk about. There's still so much to get to.
One thing that I really like is the relationship between Reaper and his sister. They really do a good job of building that relationship. Like, because he has not been on Mars in 10 years because his family was killed there. So it's the first time he's seen his sister, and there's obviously some tension between them.
Right, and then so she pursued science while he pursued a life of army.
One of my favorite lines in the entire movie.
So what's the line?
She says, "Do you ever regret?" Oh damn it! I wrote it down. Do you regret you could have spent your life looking through a microscope instead of a sniper scope? That is so good.
Got him.
Burn.
Got
There's a
him.
lot of good, like little, like short lines like that in this movie.
Yeah, there are.
My favorite one of those is when The Rock unlocks the BFG, and he goes, "Big fucking gun," and then it's like this like extended 360 shot.
Yeah, it goes like all the way around
of
the gun.
the gun, and then his face, it like cuts to his face, and he really leans in, and it's just like he's straight. It looks like he's gonna like fuck that gun.
Doesn't he say something like "shit, yeah"?
No,
Or
he
he's
picks it up. He goes, "Aw, shit." It's one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Like he could just tell how powerful it is.
So another one of the scientists that they're going to get, Dr. Karnak, they find him and he's turned into a monster, and he chases after them and gets stuck in a nano wall. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Rosamund Pike hooks him up to an IV bag.
Well, she wants to like sample a living.
Yeah, she
one of
wanted
the-
to-
Yeah, so they're trying to find him.
That nano wall was sick, by
It
the way.
was a cool design. But then The Rock gets back and he's like, his condition, we don't know his condition. And then he says, his condition is that he's dead, and then shoots him in the face.
Like puts his gun in the monster's mouth and shoots. It's like, I mean, you don't have to do all that. Like that's clearly trying to make a statement. Like you're not just.
Well, at this point, The Rock is obviously.
Yeah, he's become unhinged.
Yeah,
Which,
he's starting
again,
to lose it.
His slow.
Which again, though, makes fucking sense. He's just by this time he's lost at least 3 members of his team that are confirmed dead. The science, the one scientist he did know he had and was going to be able to save is turned into a monster and stuck in a wall. And I totally get his like becoming unhinged.
His like slow descent like into villainy was fun to watch.
Yeah.
He got increasingly angry and volatile as the movie went on.
There's like legit okay character building in this movie.
I mean,
I said okay.
yeah, with The Rock maybe, and then Carl Urban.
Urban and
Carl
and
Rural.
Rosamund Pike's characters are good.
Right. Sure.
Mac, I mean that character development's incredible.
Why was Mac in this movie?
I mean, seriously, he had no reason because his death was so inconsequential that it could have been.
They went
And
out of their way to make it
the one,
racist.
Like, joke? They tried to make a joke out of his name. It
and
wasn't
it was-
funny.
Yeah, it was just insensitive.
Yes.
But maybe that's what you needed. That's a part of it. If he wasn't there, we would have felt
Part of the early
longing.
2000s action films based on video games.
But it's not even funny.
I know.
Like if they're gonna make a joke like that,
or was it?
I mean, no.
Does 13 years like make us look at these jokes differently? Like,
But it doesn't
would
even-
I have laughed?
but it's
And
not even,
stupid idiots, stupid traditional name.
yeah. And then the next time you see him, he's getting his head chopped off
Right.
in one swing.
Yeah.
Like that monster wrecks him.
Which really, like, it's also like just another testament to Destroyer's fight because like this monster
Yeah.
can easily just delimb you.
D-limb?
Yep, and I call a head a limb. Yes.
That was my second question.
Eventually, obviously, everything goes to shit, and the outbreak makes its way through the portal to Earth.
Earth.
And
Where Pinky fucked up. Wait, was Pinky on Earth then?
No, Pinky was on
He
Mars.
was on Mars. He was through the
Oh,
airlock.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But like
They gave him an ST grenade to use if the monster came through. And then they get angry at him for not using it.
But then they find him on Earth. He's on Earth.
Hiding under bodies.
Yeah, which is smart. But Pinky, or when it gets to Earth, Rock thinks that the only way to contain this virus is
to
to
kill anyone
everybody.
And the kid is not having it.
He goes, "Our job is to keep this quarantine under control by any means necessary."
Yeah, and the kid comes back and he's like, we can get these people out of here. There's children.
And he's like, he said, your order was to clear that sector, soldier. Is it clear? And like the kid looks at him and responds to him like totally confused, like, what? No, I just told you there are people that need to be saved. He's like, did you kill them, soldier?
And this is when like the Rock solidifies himself as a villain. He shoots the kid in the throat.
Yeah.
And
Unnecessarily violent.
And then Karl Urban like gives him the eye, and he says, "Are you gonna shoot me, soldier?" And Karl Urban says, "I was thinking about it."
I mean that happened a little while later, but yeah.
Oh, does it?
That pretty much. That's like the start of the fight.
Damn it!
He's already juiced up.
Good point. I do want
Because, like you said, that's the only time he's able to, like comfortably go at the Rock and like confront him.
not until he's super powered. So anyway, somehow Karl Urban
The monsters come back and they're chasing the Rock and Karl Urban and Rosamund Pike. They run through the nano wall, and Duke is there too. They run through the nano wall, and for some reason the nano wall won't close.
Well, the Rock broke it when he smushed the button.
Oh, that's right.
Like just his immense strength, like got him into trouble. Like,
So they're like shooting through the nano wall, shooting all these monsters, and then the nano wall closes, and one of the bullets ricochets and hits Reaper in the gut.
That's such a stupid, shitty way for him to get hurt. Like,
and that was like right after Duke accidentally stepped in that human shredder.
the amount of blood.
He gets pulled down through the shredder.
Why couldn't they just have the Rock shoot Karl Urban or whatever?
I know, like especially because like he's already like, I'm a bad guy.
Why did
Like,
he have to? Like, he got hit by a ricochet from his own gun.
Like, you fucking idiot.
Jesus.
But
But the only way to save his life is for Rosamund Pike to inject C-24. And until this point, the C-24 has only like turned people into monsters.
So they find out.
I like the-
They find out that the C-24 is attaching onto people's evilness.
yeah, like if they're evil, they'll turn into a monster.
And if they're not, they'll turn into like what Lucy was. She'll have they'll have super strength.
Yeah, they'll just be a superhero.
Yeah. And Karl Urban does not want that because he doesn't want to turn into a monster.
Yeah, because he thinks he's a monster because look at the life he's led.
Yeah.
But she knows.
She's like,
that's
you don't know the things I've done.
That's my bride. That's what she
Actually,
said.
I really like the scene.
So did I, yeah.
Because, like Matt said, like until then, we've only seen the C-24 turn people evil. And now, is it going to do the same to Karl Rural?
No, it doesn't. It turns the movie into a first person.
So she injects him, he blacks out, and then the screen goes black and it comes back, and you're seeing the movie through his eyes now.
Guys, this scene was special.
It's my favorite part of the movie.
Special.
My only problem was
It's not long enough.
No, is that like Karl Urban, like 2 minutes before that started, was like, we don't have to kill everyone who's infected. We don't have to. And then like that scene starts.
It's
and
a
he's
5-minute scene of him shooting everyone.
Just shooting everything. Like these people that have clearly been established already as like they can be cured. Like it can be cured, but he's just blasting them all away.
Well, he did a cool FPS sequence.
That sequence was so good. I love it. I mean, it's like
It took him 14 days to film that whole thing.
and I mean, it's mostly CG,
CGI,
but
yeah.
like they captured the feel of doom, I think, and they also captured Karl Urban's like fucking bloodlust.
And it even has the Doom music playing in the background.
Yeah, where my favorite part is when he like he turns and sees himself in a mirror and shoots his gun. And
What if it ricocheted and shot him in the face?
he would have survived it because he's a fucking hero now.
Yeah.
He's a superhero.
He would have just wiped it away like a badass.
So he goes through, he's killing all these people. He kills a dude that's carrying a chainsaw,
Oh yeah,
There's a
Chainsaw
grenade,
Guy and
then he goes
Pinky.
through- and then he gets attacked by Pinky.
Who? What? He's a pinky monster from the game. Like all the other characters who have turned into monsters turned into a humanoid demon-looking monsters. This guy turned into a straight pink fucking, just like a big pink monster.
Good thing he was called Pinky.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I think his name was Pinkowski. Otherwise, who knows what he would have looked like?
So he has a little fight with him, and then it goes back to third person.
Third person, like it was just falling, like it was over his shoulder.
God. Let's talk about the fight between The Rock and Karl Urban.
that's
So
where
good.
That's where it went into. Never mind. I can't think of the joke I was gonna make.
Cool. This is when The Rock asks.
Turn base. That's what it.
Turn base?
That's when it went turn base.
The Rock asks Urban how many shots he has left. He has half a clip. He's like, you? He says, 1 round. And then he misses.
He misses
With a gun that we've seen only shot once before, and it blew a hole in an entire wall.
and arguably killed Portman. Like the explosion from the gun killed his own teammate.
Yeah.
But like this thing, its blast radius is like
10 feet.
Yeah, easy, just 10-foot radius, just coming at you at like a wave, and he
And how
misses.
like Karl Urban and him are standing, it may be 3 feet away from each other.
The hallway they're in isn't 4 feet wide. Like,
And Karl Urban just like whoop,
yeah, he
it
just
just jumps to the side.
Well, he's super powered. He
That's
saw it
true.
coming. He's got
Yeah,
spider
true.
sense now.
Yeah.
That's when The Rock says, you remember his line? Semper Fi, motherfucker.
Man, I do. It's like, and why have him say that now when he's
Because he has
solidified
that
as the
he has
bad?
that tattoo on his back that
Okay,
says
yeah.
Semper Fi.
It's like they forgot to build that part of his character.
But
where
no,
he-
but like now that he's solidified as the bad guy,
He's
who's
not a bad
like,
guy though.
no,
He's a Marine just doing his job.
yeah, but he's the bad guy in the movie. Like, who's trying to make a Marine the bad guy? Like, why?
I think
Yeah.
he's just still trying to show that he's an unhinged.
Again, why are
Yeah.
you trying to?
I see your
Matt, do
point.
you not hear
see your
yourself?
it's not exactly pointing the Marines in a
Yeah.
good light is the point.
Well, he's a space Marine though.
True.
I mean, but he came from Earth. I'm just saying.
Is this the first time any of them have been to Mars except for Karl Rural?
No, because they've been through the portal before.
Yeah, they've
but they
all-
all say that it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. That fight between The Rock and Karl Urban was so good, though.
Yeah.
It was like they're. I love how they just like they exhibited their superpoweredness really well, and The Rock was like slowly transforming.
And the whole time, like, Reaper still has his gun. Like, he's still trying to shoot The Rock. And then The Rock drops his gun, and Reaper's like, oh, all right.
He said, "Oh, we're going fisticuffs, my bro."
And then they start punching each other.
And then he said, "Semper fist, motherfucker."
Stupid.
Yeah, the transition from The Rock turning from a human into a monster was really cool. Like, it's slowly, each time you see The Rock's face throughout the fight, it's slowly turning into a monster.
But it's like The Rock, so he didn't turn into like a full-on
Yeah.
Carmack monster, which like literally looked like a dried avocado compared to
Yeah, The Rock
his
just has,
human
like,
form.
black eyes and fangs.
The movie ends super like suddenly.
Super perfectly, right?
No, I mean
Doesn't
they're
wrap up
fighting-
anything. And
it's after the
Reaper throws The Rock through the portal. And then,
literally, like swings him around and throws,
Yeah.
like lets the portal suck him in.
and then he throws the ST grenade, which we have not seen blow up yet. And then the ST grenade goes onto Mars and blows up, and seemingly blows up the entire facility.
yeah. And then like he finds his sister, and then he says she's unconscious in an elevator. He says we're almost home,
And then everything's fine.
and that's the end of the movie.
And then there's a really cool credit sequence.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool credit sequence. But like, there's no wrap up. I mean, his entire team's dead. Who knows what he's going back to Earth to do? But yeah, I mean, guys,
He's a superhero now. He can do whatever he wants.
what did you think of this movie?
Love it. This is like probably the 7th or 8th time that I've seen it.
I'd never seen it.
It's a classic. It's what a blockbuster was, you know?
It's such a product of the time.
Ooh, but do you want to talk about how it did, Robbie, in theaters?
That's true. Because we say it's a blockbuster, but It block flopstered. Oh.
The look of regret on Robbie's face.
I'm just gonna push through this. What do you guys think the budget was?
It's gotta be over 100 million.
It feels like it should have been like
The amount of CG and everything.
like 150.
Which probably scales to what it would be now, but it was 60 million.
Wow.
So I'd say that's probably at least 100 million by now.
60 million?
By today's standard.
Probably.
That seems low.
Yeah. I mean, the entire movie took place in one place.
Yeah.
They save money on set design for sure.
Especially because the facility on Earth and the facility on Mars were the same
Like
facility.
the same exact. They looked exactly the
So
same.
how much did it make?
56 worldwide.
Oh no.
There's 27 domestically.
Oh my god.
They didn't even make their money back.
No. And it is considered an absolute florper.
I mean, it is a video game movie.
It's at 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh man, that makes me sad.
Has a 34 Metacritic score.
I would put it I think it's great.
And it was released on VHS and DVD.
What?
VHS, my bros.
How?
Weird.
2005.
Was that like the time they were still they were like starting the transition between the two?
It must be. Like, I feel like I had a PS3 in 2005, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like what? VHS? My PS3? Where do I put that?
What if the PS2 came with a VHS?
That'd be raw as fuck, dude. That would
Like,
be.
it's just a fat
That would be-
VHS hole.
Can you?
Oh my god. What's your fucking problem?
didn't know what else to call it.
A slot? Like a compartment?
Welcome to the VHS hole. It's the sequel to the Twilight Zone. $64 million in 2005 would be about $89 million now. So,
Wow.
which is still
Fairly low
very
budget
low.
film, yeah.
That's
They didn't want to put it all out there for obviously good reason.
but it didn't, and it still didn't make its money back. That's super sad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we watched Rampage first, and then we watched Doom because we get to see like the two extremes of The Rock's career. He would
And
not,
his body.
and his yeah, exactly, his body. Like in
So this is like his third movie.
yeah, but like he would never play a villain now.
I like how you moved on, not referencing what about his body, just that you love seeing his
I
body.
love The Rock's body.
Well, because like in Rampage, him now, he's a big hulking human being.
He must
in
have put
the-
on like
And
like
comparatively,
50
yes,
pounds of pure
like
muscle.
comparatively between now and then, like The Rock looks like a child,
Yeah.
which is insane to say because in Doom
He's huge.
He's huge,
Right.
like,
It's fucking insane the difference between now and then. But yeah, I'm glad I don't know, we don't have a method for the Rock block, but I'm glad we watched Rampage before Doom.
yeah, we're thinking now that we'll flip flop like that. Now probably go something newer.
Oh,
Robbie's broken.
he came unplugged.
We're gonna plug him back in. Yeah, I mean, anything else before we wrap up here? We're
Watch
about
it.
at time.
Like, if you haven't seen it, watch
It's
it.
on Netflix. There's no
It's-
excuse to not see it.
It's an hour and 40 minutes.
I think I might-
It's an hour and 40 minutes of just pure action.
I think I might put it on after this.
It's a great movie. I mean, the director is
We didn't talk about the
a
director.
classic. He has multiple classics under his belt.
He only has, is it 5
Yeah,
directorial movies?
yeah, 5 movies.
But I mean, he's been a cinematographer for ages.
Since the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, so his first movie was Romeo Must Die,
Whoa.
the Jet Li Aaliyah classic. His second movie was Exit Wounds. The Steven Seagal DMX
DMX.
classic.
He gets the heavy hitters in his movies.
Yeah.
Then his third, he saw what he had with Jet Li and DMX and had to do Cradle to the Grave.
Incredible.
Then Doom. Then Street Fighter, The Legend of Chun-Li.
Jesus Christ.
Weird turn.
That is the best resume.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Wow. Yeah. I mean, like literally 4 out of those 5 are like I feel like legit cult classics. Like
Yeah.
I love Cradle to the Grave.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nobody who grew up in our era doesn't know what Romeo Must Die, Cradle to the Grave, and fucking Exit Wounds.
Yeah.
Maybe Exit Wounds. Maybe Exit Wounds. I could see that being not well known, but like Romeo Must Die. That is one of the best football scenes.
Oh my God.
in any movie.
We should watch that.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
I'm excited for the Rock Block.
Yeah.
We should compare that football scene to Rudy. just that football scene to the movie Rudy.
We should compare. We should like that'd be a fun experiment. Like find different football scenes from a bunch of different movies
And compare them to Rudy.
I will never I will never forget the football scene from Starship Troopers.
Oh,
Where they play on concrete. I know it's the future, but like, what the fuck?
I mean, I would argue since it's the future, that shit should be. They should be like.
There should be like a football field hologram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some like some padded play place or some shit.
Yeah. Anything else about Doom?
Watch it.
Watch it, see it. No excuse not to watch it. Guys,
See it. You should watch it. I don't think there's any excuse not to.
yeah, watch it. It's on Netflix. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Good Enough. Matt, Robbie, thanks for joining us.
No worries.
And we will be back next week with more Good Enough.
Didn't even say fuck this episode.
Oh.
Awesome.
Squeezed it in.